Adelaide, the greatest city in the world. It's time to wake up with the team born and bred right here in South Australia. The unofficial Mayor of Adelaide, AFL legend and Yabby peeling record holder, Mark Rasciuto. The former squash champ and current B-grade golf champ, Chris Didmar. And the award-winning radio host who's the dumbest smart person you know, Laura O'Callaghan.
It's
Triple M Breakfast with Roo, Dits and Loz.
Oh, hello, it's Wednesday morning. Plenty of cash to give away today. That's what I'm seeing.
From the budget.
Yeah, on the back of the budget, we're going to blow the budget. Our producer Jared's just told us. Now, we're getting the Prime Minister today as well.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. He doesn't normally come on our show.
Oh, a little old us.
Must be good stuff to talk about with the budget, so
Yeah.
we'll find out more about that later on. We'll have a bit of fun along the way.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast. 104.7 Triple M.
Hello, Adelaide.
No one knows Adelaide like these guys. Triple M Breakfast with Roo, Dits and Loz.
Overnight news.
Oh, we've woken up to the budget. There's not a huge amount of positivity or negativity either way. I think it's sort of a reasonably
Neutral.
bland sort of result. The biggest thing they're talking about is a $300 rebate that every household is going to get in Australia, which just sounds ridiculous to me, why you would give it to everyone, but that's what they're doing. And other than that, there doesn't seem to be too much that anyone's excited about. The main thing people are talking about is whether it'll send inflation up or not, and the proof will be in the pudding in probably 6 months, and that'll probably decide whether they get in their next election or not. That's what
One
people are
very,
saying.
very small part of their announcements. I think this is a great, good local story. Last year, they were going to do major works on our freeway and it got canned. They promised it and then they withdrew the funding. Now they've given it back. So that's good. So
They flip-flopped.
Hahndorf interchange or Verdun interchange and Mount Barker getting brand
That's
new
good.
interchanges, and it's needed. So
Very
the
much.
freeway getting a bit of love, which is good.
Exciting.
Hey, there's a big trial happening with Ozempic, which has had numerous uses, but the main one is to lose weight at the moment. And 17,000 adults have been put through this study, and everyone had to be over the age of 45. And what they're saying is they're having massive results in terms of stopping heart disease deaths in this age bracket by 20%, which
That's
is
good.
a huge number. We know how many people have issues with heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, all that because, people are getting bigger and unhealthier. If you can reduce deaths by 20%, that is
Crazy.
going to be a blockbuster drug.
Yeah.
So, let's keep an eye on that one over the next 6-12 months as well.
If you're out there and you're working in hospitality and you want to double your tips, now we're not really a tipping country in Australia, but it still happens, and there's nothing better than getting a tip. Whether or not you put it in the tip jar or keep it for yourself, that's not my business. But apparently if you want to double your tips, according to the FBI, people who used to work there, he said, mirror the body language of the person you're serving. So... or their behaviour, so their energy, mirror their energy and their body language. So if they're very relaxed...
So they like you.
Yeah, if they're very relaxed, meet them on their level. And I think that's true. If you get a server who's whoa over the top and not your vibe,
Yeah.
even if they're really nice, it can be like, oh, God, don't come over here, don't come over here. Hi, guys, how you going? Like, it's
That's an interesting assumption.
So,
So-
if they're rude and obnoxious,
if they're rude and
you
obnoxious,
just shadow that.
well, I get, maybe meet them where they are, but
You might get food chucked on you, not a tip.
I'm reminded. Everyone's got a story like this, I think. But I took the kids to America years ago, and wanted to go to Hard Rock Cafe. And I'll try and cut this short. But what are you having? What are you having, sir? I'll have a cheeseburger. Amazing choice. No, it's just a cheeseburger. Anyway, my son then, what are you going to have? Yeah, I'll have a cheeseburger. It was an amazing choice. Incredible. And,
You would have loved
and
that,
it got
yes.
louder. And they went, mate, we've ordered a cheeseburger.
yeah. Oh, my God.
Where's your volume button? I just need to turn you down a bit.
You would have
so
tipped him to piss off.
American.
How much for you to go away and not come back?
If they meet you on their level, there's something nice about it. You know, if you're cruisy, they're cruisy. If they're upbeat, you're upbeat. You know, I think it's good. I think it could work.
We all saw the the Collingwood supporter, not everyone, but a lot of people saw him put his hands and touch the West Coast Eagles player on the weekend. And he just couldn't believe he was getting close to an AFL footballer. He gave his little hair a rub.
his
And
hair.
then he thought, I might take the footy while I'm at it, and grab the footy, and he handballed it back to one of his star players out there in Collingwood. And then he sat down and went, wow, that was a cool 30 seconds. Well, he's probably going to get 12 months banned from going to the footy, which he's a bit upset about. Yesterday, he apologised.
At no stage did he ever give me permission to put my hands on him, and it's uncalled for. I'm really sorry for my family. I've embarrassed myself and them, but I know I'll learn from this and I'll be back. I was there as a family man, and I left a broken man.
Oh, he's actually broken my heart with that. I feel for him.
Yeah.
At least he won't stick out if he tries to come back to the footy.
Oh,
Well, he will.
he's got the Mike Tyson face tats, hasn't he?
He has.
It's
He's got
a
the
dog
double
choice.
Mike Tyson, though.
Yeah.
But I said to you yesterday, there was no malice in it.
No.
At no stage did he do anything really badly right. And the West Coast player just walked off. He
Oh,
was
he's
smiling. Yeah.
I think he enjoyed the med massage.
So,
It's
but
just, you got to be hard on
You
him.
just don't know if those
I just
people
wish
have
they
got a
could
knife.
use him as an example right now and say, everyone out there, don't do this
Yeah.
again, but we're going to give this bloke a warning and let him go back to the footy.
Yeah.
We can't be touching players. We know
can't.
that. Anyway.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast.
Oh, yesterday and every Tuesday we record the Bump. It's a footy podcast. Dits and Jars and Bernie and myself, and sometimes Rhett Biglands join in and we talk about all the local footy issues. And somehow we ended up in Italy with Dits on a date with a hot Italian lady. What?
Well, we're talking about Dante Visentini.
Yeah.
He'd been on the rush hour the night before.
And played
So we
well on the
started-
weekend.
Started talking about Italians and
Oh, shock horror.
We went off
Your
on a
mind
tangent.
went
Went to
there.
good-looking
went off on
Italian
a,
women.
went from it. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
how.
see how it is.
Don't know how.
Let's hear it.
I like Visentini's
Gary
effort.
Sweet's back.
Yeah, I like
Visentini had a go.
Visentini. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I'd start him off.
And his stuff around the ground, some of his
Very
handballing
good.
and short passing, he did
Yeah,
really well.
I think he has a crack.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Got that hot Italian bloody temper in him, I think.
Italian temper. Huh?
Yeah, he is.
Italians do fire up.
Yeah.
I reckon he's a future good ruckman.
Did you ever go out with an Italian girl in your day when you were number one around the
I got a
world?
funny story about that. I was all set. Do you want to hear it now or not? I can tell it
Nah,
later.
tell it on the podcast, family.
I'm in Italy playing
Yeah,
squash,
for sure, yeah.
and I'm at this really ritzy club that we played at. A beautiful club, very posh. I had to wear a jacket and tie to
Have you
get
told
in.
this story before?
I think so, but I'll tell the
tell me,
the
I haven't
bump.
heard it.
I don't think I've heard it.
Anyway,
Right.
this chick is that hot. It's
Dits.
unbelievable, right?
Sophia
And
Loren
I'm-
type?
I'm
How old are you
about,
at this stage?
Oh, 18, 19, 20, something
Just
like that.
emerging, weren't you?
Yeah, just, starting to look about.
Fresh-faced.
And,
Never left
And I'm a
Australia.
I've got my jacket and tie on. I'm a gentleman, and she's that beautiful. And after about day 3, I muster up the courage. I said, in broken English, would you come out for dinner with me tonight? She goes, oh, I'd love to. Rah. Get the address, and I go around in a taxi, and she comes out looking like Sophie Loren. It was unbelievable.
Stop it.
And then, walking out 5 metres behind her is this bloke. And I'm looking past her going, who's he? Oh, shit. Anyway, they both get in the cab. I'm going, excuse me? And he doesn't speak a word of English, this bloke. And he's just sitting there. Turns out, and this happens, he's the chaperone. Her mum and
What
dad
do you
have
think you're
sent...
going to do? Take advantage of it?
I've just... So dinner went about 10 minutes. I said, you can nip this in them. I did.
Well, so
I've
what were
never
you
been
there
so
for?
shattered in my life.
You can still talk to
And
her.
I went the next day and I asked all these older... I said, what the hell was that about? They said, it's chaperone. Yeah, it happens all the time.
They knew
This is in
exactly
1980.
what you were doing.
I couldn't believe it.
You were there for the wrong reasons.
All dressed up, nowhere to go. It was shattering.
Mate, what
And
do
he
you
sat there
reckon
all
was
night.
doing?
He didn't say one word.
How
He just
old
sat
was
there.
she? 19?
Yeah, about that. He never said one word, this
He
lad,
just
but he was
watched it.
there.
He was
They'd heard about
He was
you.
there to ruin my night.
They'd heard about you. Don't worry
And
about
did
that.
say-
Paid for dinner, paid for the
Say
cab.
if he wasn't there, would you have gone out somewhere else?
Of course not, Joe.
God.
Would have held her
Would you
hand.
gone necking?
No.
He was going to go to the movies and have some popcorn.
Yeah. What a dart of a night that was. Chaperone.
Do you know how she's going now?
No. You reckon I ain't quiet after that?
She's a movie star.
Anyway, good luck on the footy this week.
Bad luck, Ditch. You missed out.
Garbage we talk about on the bump. We talk some footy
A little
as
bit
well.
of footy in
eventually.
between.
I like it.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast.
Sports Card World, the specialists in sports cards and trading card games. Sports Card World, Region Arcade, Rundle Mall.
Triple M breakfast with Roo, Dits and Loz.
Overnight sports.
Okay, let's talk Crows. Josh Worrell left hospital yesterday. He's told it's a broken forearm, 8 to 12 weeks on the sideline, but there might be a bit of good news out of this. This is the report on 7 News last night.
7 News understands Crows defender Josh Worrell has signed a 2-year contract extension. Let's go to Josh Money with the exclusive details. Josh, it's some timely good news for Worrell.
Oh, absolutely. Soda was right here on Sunday where Worrell suffered that nasty double break in his forearm. But there is a silver lining. 7 News understands that his new contract extension that will see him through until the end of 2027 will be announced in the coming days.
Yeah, we'll wait and see about that one. If it's right, that would be good for Josh and good for the football club because he was playing great footy before he got injured and will be when he comes back.
All right, the back-end draw, the last part of the season was announced yesterday, Roo. Looks pretty good for both our sides. The Crows will play 5 of its last 9 games at the Adelaide Oval, 3 Saturday night games.
Yeah, 3 Saturday night, a couple of Sunday twilight. No Friday night games in Adelaide. I think Crows play Essendon in Melbourne on a Friday night, which will be a good game.
Yeah, big game. Port Adelaide, 3 straight Saturday night games, which is good, rounds 21 to 23, including the showdown.
They'll be annoyed about that it's not a standalone game on a Friday night or a Thursday night, because when you have 2 games on a Saturday, you get less than half the crowd.
All right, now Essendon and Collingwood,
on
no
TV,
surprise.
that is.
No surprise here. Essendon and Collingwood, 3 Friday night games each.
Well, the good sides are getting all the big slots in the back end. That's what they do.
Now, they've done away with Thursday night footy for the rest of the season. Here's fixture boss Josh Bowler.
It starts to get a bit colder and there's less teams competing for finals. So we just felt when you weigh all that up, it gets harder, and we ultimately think the traditional fixture structure is best for the fixture in the back part of the year.
I don't know if I'm missing something here, but this does not make any sense at all. I haven't heard a person say anything negative about Thursday night football. Everyone in the football community loves it. I know we've done more Thursday nights this year than ever before, so the attendances will be up, the memberships will be up and all that. I wonder if they're just keeping a bit up their sleeve so next year they can do it all year and break more records and talk about how good the AFL is and pump it up again next year, because if they did it all this year, next year might be hard to keep up to that level. But I reckon they're just giving other sports a free kick, like NRL on Thursday nights or Netflix. People have to
So
go.
you would have kept going with it?
Everyone loves it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
I think
great.
you're right. Yeah.
It's exciting. Something to do on a Thursday night.
Actually, Loz just handed me a note. I'm sorry about this. I meant to ask, or Loz wants to know, Nick Murray and Riley Thilthorpe. Let's just go back to the Crows.
Yep.
What's happening with them, Roo?
Well, Nick Murray is only 2 to 3 weeks away from playing. He'll play in the SANFL, I think, early June, they're hoping. And Riley Thilthorpe is actually back starting to run for the first time after injuring his knee in the last pre-season game against West Coast. So he might be about 6 or 8 weeks away from playing.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah. All right, there you go, Loz.
He's not far from coming back, Loz.
There's an update for you.
Full.
Yeah, all right. Now,
Well done,
heading
Riley.
around the league, St Kilda reportedly pitched for an 8-year multi-million-dollar deal for Carlton's Jacob Wiedering.
When you say multi-million-dollar deal, we're talking $12 million for 8 years, $1.5 million a year. That is what
Holy
they said
biscuits.
on the news. He would be the highest ever paid player if that was the
Hell.
if that's true.
That's big.
Good grief.
Some big money getting thrown around.
We talked about this earlier this morning. What about the footy fan that rubbed the West Coast player on the head over the weekend, just gave him a little tap and then handballed the ball back into play? What happened to him?
Well, he won't be at the MCG this Saturday when the Crows take on the Pies, and he won't be there at all this year. He's, in fact, given a 12-month ban, 6 months of that suspended. So he'll be having the rest of 2024 off.
Yep, don't touch players.
No.
Do not touch that player.
That's right. Thanks, Prof.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Lehman. I'm Anthony Lehman.
Yes, he joins us every Wednesday morning. Hello, Lehmo.
Oh, g'day, guys. I'll tell you what, how good was that budget last night?
Oh, mate, I
riveting.
stayed up all night.
Yum, yum, yum.
Don't. I'm going home to watch the highlights. Don't ruin
Don't
it
spoil
for me.
anything for Dits
Yeah.
all morning. Yeah.
Speaking of politics, what did we think of Anthony Albanese singing the song with the Hawthorn boys on the weekend?
You should be ashamed of yourself, Lehmo, your footy club.
Yeah.
What?
Can't allow
Long-time
that.
supporter.
Can't
He wouldn't
allow that to
even
happen.
know who Cyril Rioli is.
Mate, come on, he was singing you the words to the song. But I love how people complain about it. They're going, what's he doing there? He should be solving the cost of living crisis. Like, like that's a Sudoku you can just polish off after half time.
He's good, Albo. He's a good match for Hawthorn.
That is one of the great insults, Lehmo. You might not know it.
Now, on to more exciting issues. The NBA Finals are on at the moment.
Oh.
And the Dallas Mavericks are playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Dallas had a good win on the weekend. I don't know if you saw this, but Luka Doncic was in a press conference after the match. And I've got a feeling that someone, a Dallas fan, might have started celebrating too early. Have a listen to the sounds that come in over the press conference.
Just our sharing the ball and our energy was great.
What do you think? Okay. Okay, moving on.
I hope that's not live.
What was going on there?
There was they were bedroom noises. I'm not sure if it was something recorded or something that was going on in the building.
Gee whiz.
What?
Very
Wait,
excited.
did someone open their laptop and they hadn't closed their browser? Or...
Are we learning something about you here, Loz?
No. Well, it did. I was once in a shoot and the bloke next to me opened his laptop and it came immediately out very quickly.
Right.
I wouldn't have a single clue what you mean.
Hey, did you see the proposal on the weekend at the MCG during the Carlton and Melbourne game?
Yes,
What
saw
happened?
that, yep.
It was half time and a dude proposed to his partner. It was on the big screen and she said yes and everyone was loving it. But I've got to say, I prefer a no when it comes to public proposals.
They're much more exciting.
They are way more entertaining. Have a listen to this one. This is during an NBA game, and it's great because it comes with commentary.
You know what? I'm just waiting once for the gal to say no, okay? And, that would be...
Well, she has to say yes there. She may say no as soon as they walk off the court.
I think she's saying, I can't do it right now.
So I really do like you a lot, but let's just be friends.
Look at this. Wow. Well, how do you like that?
That young man probably get over it in 10, 12 years or so.
She said no.
She said no and walked off. And the great thing was the guy was flat as a tack, and the mascot, which was a giant bunny rabbit, walked over and started comforting him.
Oh,
That's
no.
what you need.
It's an unwritten rule as a woman that you say yes. If they do it in public, you say yes and then break up with them later because you can't give them the public humiliation along with the rejection.
You girls are so nice.
Oh, well. What do you want? You want me to say no on live TV and ruin his life?
No, you idiot.
Hey, tell me, Roo, was yours a romantic proposal?
Yeah, absolutely it was. At the Overland Corner pub.
There we go. Oh, beautiful setting.
Yeah, beautiful setting.
In the front seat of a car, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, they were going through the botlo.
No, as I've always said,
there's no botlo there.
It all
Lehmo.
started in the front seat. Didn't end there.
What about you, Lehmo?
Mate, when I proposed to my wife, I delivered this big love speech before my proposal. And I'm not even joking, while I was delivering my love speech, my wife said the following things. She goes, "Why are you saying these things? This is really weird." And my favourite, she goes, "Are you testing comedy material?"
Wow. Must have been boring.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast.
Story that broke a couple of days ago now, but good report on Channel 7 News last night. The young couple driving down Tapley's Hill Road went in for a pash and crashed the car. Let's have a listen.
It's not clear whether the kiss was a pash or a peck, but it was enough to send the driver into a spin. The 25-year-old woman was travelling with her 18-year-old boyfriend along Tapley's Hill Road at 3 in the morning. He planted one on her from the passenger seat and she lost control. Her Mazda mounted a curb and ploughed through road signs before coming to a stop on its side against a fence.
Bit of cradle snatching going on.
She's 25, he's
Cougar.
18.
Bloody hell.
Cougar Town.
I think she might have got a surprise that the 18-year-old just planted one on her.
Yeah, it sounds like he kind of did a bit of a kamikaze attack and she wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You got to be careful in the car. You just got to be careful.
But it wasn't just a crash. I mean, they've rolled, they've gone through a fence.
Yeah.
3:15 on a Tuesday morning as well.
Yeah. Have you
Anyway.
has something ever like that ever made you crash, Loz?
No, but I've never had like no one else in the car's ever caused an accident for me, but when I just got my P's and driving through the hills, God, my parents must have just been so anxious. 4 kids driving through the hills on their P's. And I was coming around a corner. Have you ever been to the Hyacombe golf course?
Yeah.
So that's on a bend, that one. And I was coming sort of from city side towards Mum and Dad's house. I was coming around that corner. My friend Michaela, she lived in their house on that corner. And she was taking the bins out. And I just looked at her and waved.
Got distracted.
And then when I looked back, I was slightly on the gravel. And when I say I overcorrected, I mean I just right hand jackknifed this thing. And I did a perfect, like, I'd spun
180.
around 180.
360.
It wasn't quite a 360, but I did a 180. And Michaela's just standing there with the bins, like watching this happen. And the thing about this part of the road is that one side's got the golf course entrance, the other side is just a direct drop into nothing.
Yeah.
And I parallel park essentially right on the edge of this drop, and just my car just hummed.
So you're like a stunt driver.
Yeah, and my hubcap popped off. And it was sort of like going in the middle of the road. And Michaela was just standing there with her mouth open. And we laughed and in shock for about 25 minutes.
Oh, my God.
And to this day, she still brings it up with me. She goes, remember that time? I said, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I waved at someone once and that caused an accident.
You need a little bit of luck, don't you, in those first few years?
Rue was
Scary.
riding his push bike one morning perving, and that caused a real bad
Wasn't
crash.
it? It was a man in a
It was
suit.
a man in a suit.
Oh, of course.
100%.
And you just went, what's he doing in a suit at
Ended
this
up
time
in
in the
hospital,
morning?
Rue.
5 o'clock in the morning. I thought, what the hell? Where have you been? Or where are you going? Or what are you going to the supermarket for?
The Coles that used to be
I
on
was
Grove
fair
Street.
dinkum less than an inch away from death.
Really?
I was an inch. I had a steel pole that went into the side of my forehead, and if it went through my eye socket, I would have been impaled on the fence.
Can you imagine
That
if
was
that's
at
how you
like
went
4:30 in the morning before
Melbourne
our
Cup
show.
Day.
Got taken to hospital. Rue was in hospital. Yeah.
Oh.
How did you? What caused you to crash? Was it having a pash as you were driving along? Give us a ring.
The old passion crash.
What caused you to crash your car?
Let's go to Mono Para. G'day, Darren. Have you been pashing and crashing, or you done something different?
Did something different. Basically, when in those days, in the early days, you go to a drive-in and you buy your snacks, before you get in there to save a bit of money.
Yeah.
And I borrowed my mum's car, and I got to the shop, and the guy said, "You own a white Mini?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." "Why is that?" And he goes, "It's down the road in between a house and a stovey pole."
Oh, what happened?
The shop was actually on a hill, like a driveway of a hill, and it actually, I forgot to put the handbrake on it.
Oh, Darren.
That
Mum's
old
Mini.
chestnut, yeah.
Was the
Mum's
car
Mini.
damaged or?
Well, basically, it's close to a write-off.
Oh, no.
Well, minis are worth a fortune these days if you
And missed
kept
out
it.
on a night at the drive-in.
Good on you, Darren. Anyway,
Just-
Darren can go and see Jim Jeffries or the Hoodoo Gurus and have a bit of fun with that.
Yeah. Put your handbrake on,
Yeah.
Darren.
Triple M's Rue, Dits and Loz for breakfast.
Well, they're two respected and revered Australian icons, both incredibly successful in their respective bands. Now they've got together and released a single from their new project, Fanning Dempsey National Park, which is loosely based around a chat they had expressing their own desires to have parks named in their honour. I have no source for that. Please welcome to the show, Bernard Fanning and Paul Dempsey.
We played this single last Friday morning for the
Brilliant.
first time. Disconnect.
Brilliant.
Everyone loved it. Let's get them on. Burning and Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
You both want a park. That can't be right. Is that right?
Well, you will have to check your sources on that one.
Yes, I think we will
I do a
check
swimming
our
pool. I live down the road from the Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Pool.
Oh, no.
Believe it or not. And I reckon, if they want to rename that one, then I don't know.
It has to be on the nose, isn't it?
Someone had a sense of humour with that. There's no doubt.
A man drowns to death. You name a pool after
It's
him.
pretty strange,
pretty
gotta
weird.
say.
Now, Bernard and Paul, two iconic figures in our music industry. When you both get together to do a song like this or an album, who takes over?
Who's
Who's in
the
charge?
alpha?
How do you?
Yeah.
Who has what input?
Well, it was just a matter of we were just exchanging songs. It was, we kind of got together during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Was when we started kind of working on this stuff, and we were sending songs back and forth. So whoever was kind of coming up with the first principles of
Yeah.
the song and sending it off was probably the alpha in that situation. In terms of, production and putting the songs together, Paul's definitely the alpha in terms of making the final touches to the demos and that sort of stuff. But it's pretty evenly split, really, isn't it? The workload. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's sort of part of what's been so fun about it is, we decided to start throwing some ideas at each other and see where it goes. And it's just been really easy.
Now, Paul, is it true that you went into the front bar of the Corner Hotel under different band names? I guess dressed up differently each time to road test a few of these songs or what?
Not these
surely
songs.
Not.
No, I did do that with Something for Kate songs years and years ago. I used to play in the front bar under really stupid names.
Are you serious?
I'm looking at some of these names. Hawaiian Robot, excellent. Man-Made Horse, beautiful. Captain Pinstripe, holy dooly. I mean, these are great names. How did you settle on Something for Kate in the end?
Oh, God, I wouldn't even say settled on it. I still don't like it. It stuck to us more than we stuck with it. We had our first show coming up and we still didn't have a name, and the venue owner called our house and got me on the phone and was like, I think we were called Fish of the Day at that point. And he basically called and he just said, you can't be called Fish of the Day. I'm not letting you do that. Think of something better right now.
Fish of the Day.
Oh, you've just given Rue a stripper name, by the way.
Yeah. I looked down at the kitchen counter in front of me and there was a Post-it note that said Something for Kate on it. I had no idea what it was, what it meant, who it was for, and I just blurted out Something for Kate and he went, well, it's better than Fish of the Day.
That's amazing.
I'm not sure he was right.
No.
Getting back to the Harold Holt swimming pool example.
Tits has been snagged on that since you said
I'm
it.
fascinated because the song Disconnected, actually, when I read the story here, it says it's actually about the chemistry at play. So it is a kind of an ironic name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither of us are really predisposed to explaining our songs too much, meaning-wise. Surely for you guys it's the same as it is for me. That's part of the adventure of listening to music. You kind of you write yourself into it. You know, you put yourself in the position of the author, and that's one of the fun bits. Imagining that you wrote it yourself, I don't know if that's weird.
No,
but,
I just think it's innate for people who love things to want to find out as much as they can about it, but then that kind of steals the magic away from it in this sort of strange
in
way.
some cases. And also, I used to think this was absolute garbage when writers would say, well, the meaning of it has changed over the years. And I thought that was garbage. But it's true. It actually happens where you the meaning of stuff unfolds over years and decades in our case. Centuries, actually, in our case. So,
I've had heaps of people say to me, like, oh, this song means so much to me because of this, this and this. And then they go into these really specific events of their life and why the song. And it's like, well, obviously I didn't write it for that reason. But if that's what it means to you, then I'm not about to turn around and rob you of that by telling you why I wrote it.
You're wrong, John.
Exactly. That's not it at all.
Hey, fantastic, fellas. Thanks so much for joining us. Bernard, Fanning, Paul Dempsey. The song is Disconnect. We're playing it here on Triple M and we love it. Thanks, fellas.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast.
New Hilux in stock with bonus $1,000 accessories at Peter Kittle Toyota.
Triple M breakfast with Roo, Dits and Loz.
When do I get paid?
It's time for Joe's Joke. Which Prosciutto kid's telling jokes today? Is it Joe, Nick, Tom, Sophie, Rosie or Rocco? Spin the Prosciutto Kid wheel.
All right, let's head out to the Prosciuttos. Who have we got there today?
Tom.
Hello, Tom. How old are you, Tom?
8.
8 years old.
Wow.
Okay. Go on.
He hasn't actually asked when he's getting paid like Joe.
No.
And that's unusual for Tom because, Tom, you like your cash, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you growing anything at the moment? Have you sold any tomatoes or anything like that to get you some money?
No.
We've got 2 pumpkins we've got to go and pick though, Tom, because they're ready.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, did you have sports day on Friday?
Yeah.
How'd you go?
We came second.
Oh, what's your team called?
Bradman.
And do you have a colour?
White.
Oh.
White.
Yeah.
Okay. What about footy on the weekend?
I don't know.
You went pretty well, Tom.
Did you?
Do you reckon you played all right?
Yeah.
Kick any goals?
I kicked 2.
Gits, can you tell him he hasn't kicked one on his left foot yet?
Yeah, you got to get onto your left. Yeah, need to kick both.
That's your challenge this week, isn't it?
Do you practice much with your left foot?
Kind of.
Because you know the real good players, they can do both.
Yeah, Jordan Dawson's a left footer.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Tom, what's your joke for us today?
What do you call a missing octopus?
What do you call a missing octopus?
What do you call him?
A octagon.
Octagon.
Righto.
Not bad.
Have you got another one for us?
Yeah.
Righto. What is it?
What does a chatty caterpillar become?
What is a chatty caterpillar?
What?
A social butterfly.
A couple of good ones there, Tom.
Very good. Haven't heard that before.
All right, mate.
Good on
You
you,
have
Tom.
a great day. We'll catch you later on.
Yep.
See ya.
All right, mate.
We've got Jet. Hello, Jet.
Hello.
How old are you? How old are you, Jet?
7.
7. And what school do you go to?
Clemson Primary School.
Oh, that's
Apparently,
good.
all the kids there are really smart.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah. What's your teacher's name, Jet?
Bruce.
Don't call me Bruce.
Oh, that's fantastic. Is he a good teacher?
Yeah.
He sounds like he's got a moustache. Has he?
No.
Don't be silly.
doesn't.
All right, what's your joke today, Jet?
Why did chicken cross the road?
Why did the chicken cross the road? Why?
Because.
I like that. I
Good
like
on you,
it.
Jet.
Well done, Jet.
Jet. Really
Good day
good
with
one.
Bruce.
I reckon this one's going to
All
be
right.
even better, though. We got Hudson on the line. G'day, Hutto.
Hello.
How are you, mate? You having a good day?
Yeah, I am.
Good.
Brilliant.
How old are you, Hudson?
I'm 8.
8. And
What'd you have for breakfast this morning?
I had an English bun.
Oh,
An English
bun.
That's
I
a
like
good
an English
start to the
muffin.
day.
What'd you have on it?
Nothing. Just like
oh.
a plain.
Just like
Just
a plain.
like a plain.
Plain. Cool,
Hudson knows
mate.
what he likes. All
Yeah.
right.
That's good.
How old are you, Hudson? Oh, you said that already.
Yeah.
What school do you? What
Don't
school
worry
do you-
about Arnie Laws.
No, what I meant to say was, what school do you go to, Dale?
I go to St. Michael's College, Beverly.
They are
Nice.
a very powerful school.
Yeah.
Do you know that Uncle Dix,
Oh,
he went to St.
I went there
Michael's?
too, Hudson. Can you believe it? You could end up like me. That's right. That's scary. I know.
Yeah.
I
Don't
know.
let that
Change
freak
schools.
you out.
Change schools.
Who's your teacher, Hudson?
Mr. Desari.
Yeah, Mr.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's very
All right.
strict.
No
Very
worries.
strict.
All right, now have you got a joke for us?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
What do you call a deer with no eyes?
A deer with no eyes. All right, what do you call it?
No idea.
No idea. There you go.
Very good answer.
Now, have you heard part 2 of that joke, Hudson?
No.
Okay, what do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs?
What do you call?
Well, still no idea.
Oh,
Because he's
nice
still
one, dear.
can't move.
There you go. You can use that one, Hudson, all right?
Yep. I like it. All
Good
right.
on you,
Well
mate.
done,
Hutto.
kids.
Have a
Roo
cracking day,
has
mate.
got a real good prize
Yeah.
for you, Hudson, and
You've got-
Jet as well.
You got family passes to go to AFL Max. This is a great place to party, learn, train and play. It's all indoors. Book at aflmax.com.au.
Good on you, kids. We love
Well
it when
done.
they
We
ring in
love
with
you.
their jokes.
Good jokes today.
Yeah, they
Very
were.
good.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast. AutoCam, real-time video from Automasters. Triple M's Rumour Mill, Adelaide's most listened to segment. Hear it every day at 7:40 on Roo, Dits and Loz.
Yeah, you can get involved on 133353, or you can text in on the Automasters text line 048885 1047, just like this anonymous rumour texter has. Rumour is that there are certain groups that want to release platypus into the Torrens. Now, I presume that means they
Platypus
used to
into the
be
Torrens?
native to the Torrens, and maybe there still is. I don't know. I've never seen one. I've lived on the River Torrens, but I've never seen one.
Never see a
Possibly at
platypus,
7 different spots along it. So it sounds like it's been thought about.
Strategic.
Yeah.
That is intriguing.
He says there's also people saying that there needs to be a bit of work to be done on the river in regards to the safety and quality of the food and the water.
Well, that would take a major change, wouldn't it?
They'd need to let more water flow down the Torrens more frequently.
Flush it out.
So, watch this space.
Platypus.
Have you ever seen one in the wild?
No.
There was one in the creek behind our primary school, and a few of us kids saw it. And then we were it was like a mythical beast after that. Everyone was trying to hunt this platypus down, but they're very, very rare to be seen.
Yeah. Geez, they'd have a good feed on the carp, wouldn't it?
They're the only mammal that doesn't have nipples.
Right.
Wow.
Good
That's changed my life.
Oh.
We need to tie it up. Yeah, look.
You are just...
So,
it's a safe space.
Can you
Just,
just- Just Google it up and see if they're native for me as well, can you, Loza?
Native to us. They're Australian natives.
Right, I said I was... No, but to the Torrens.
Okay.
Now, you've been teasing us. Forget platypus. What about M&M?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Right, well...
Because months ago, you dropped this that there was you think they were trying to book him for Adelaide or whatever.
They're trying to come, yeah.
Right. What can
and
you
then
say?
I had an update about a month after that, and I said, they're still coming. And my update today is they want to come, but getting it into the Australian schedule with all the big stadiums, because you need the big stadiums for M&M, is proving a headache.
Why?
Footy, cricket... we use our sporting stadiums a lot.
Yeah, but we've had other bands come here and fit into the schedule.
I know.
Happens all the time.
I know, but it's proving difficult at this
Who they got organising
Who's
it?
being difficult?
I don't know who's organising it. I would suggest it would be the best concert organisers going around. Who is it? Frontier Touring, Live Nation? Who are the big boys?
Wonder who's being difficult. Because surely it's not that impossible to get a tour. Like, people tour all the time.
No, I'll tell that to the touring people, but that's my information.
So you
they
would say that
still want to come.
All right.
It is still
But it's
on
not
the
over the
agenda
line. It's
for
not over the line yet.
M&M fans out there, so it's still looking like it might be coming.
And just for your information, they are native to the Torrens, but they haven't been seen there since the 70s because of the noxious quality of the water.
Okay, all right. Well, they can
So you were
make a
gagging
comeback.
for that information, dying for it.
Crows fans, just a little one. Keep an eye on your socials just before the end of the show. Just for a little bit of a plum tickler there for you.
Who is it?
Wow.
What's happening?
You could sort of do breaking news here on the very show that you work on. That'd be
against
novel.
my position at the football club.
Old conflict of interest strikes again.
There's no conflict if you haven't got any interest.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast.
Scientists have released a study on the filthiest thing in your house. The filthiest party house never gets cleaned. What is it, Roo?
Well, it's not the toilet, is it?
Not the
It
toilet.
can't be.
It's not the toilet.
I think I have an idea, but I don't want to step on your...
No, go for it. If you guess it, you're well done.
Is it the door handle?
No.
The front door handle?
No.
Is it the front door mat?
No. Apparently never gets cleaned.
The laundry?
No.
Oh, the washing machine?
No.
Dishwasher?
No.
Jeez.
Well, that would be self-cleaning. Wouldn't it be self-cleaning? that made the final. That was top three.
What is it?
TV remote. Filthiest thing in the house.
Course.
And never gets cleaned, apparently.
Never.
And in a house like yours, Roo, with so many people touching it, they say...
picking their nose, then grabbing the
that's
TV.
it.
Have you ever
There you
had
go.
it where the remote has so much crud in it that the buttons stop working?
Oh, yeah. Gets stuck. Yeah.
Well, they get food and drink spilled on them.
That's
too.
right.
We had a situation where you had to hold the thing down to get the channel to change,
Yeah.
but if you held it too long, it would go too far.
That's it. It's
so
annoying.
every day you were like, I
Yeah.
just want on channel 7, and you
How
couldn't
do you
get it to
clean
do
it
it.
without getting it too moist that you ruin the mechanisms
Alcohol
inside?
rub.
Is it alcohol
Yeah,
rub?
you need some sort of
Okay.
metho
Anyway,
rub.
start cleaning your remotes out there, everybody.
Nice one, Dits. Good tip, mate.
Roo, Dits and Loz, Triple M.
Triple M's Roo, Dits and Loz for breakfast.
On Triple M Breakfast with Roo, Dits and Loz, please welcome to the show the Prime Minister of Australia, Mr. Anthony Albanese.
There you go. Never thought you'd have your own song, Prime Minister, did you?
Oh, indeed, a sort of spin on the Eagles.
Yeah, that's right. Too good.
Do you like music?
I love music.
All right. Yeah, I just want you to sing when the music stops for me. Here we go.
We're a happy see Matt Hawthorn.
Oh, he's all over it.
He's all over
We're the mighty fighting Hawks. We love our club and we play to win. Right in the bumps with a grin. At Hawthorn.
Well done.
Great song.
Well done. Now
We saw you there last week.
Yeah, that's right. People out there might not realise you're a big Hawthorn supporter.
Yeah, I had I had a question. Who in 2024? You'd be pretty dumb if you were living in Sydney and you chose opportunistically to back Hawthorn rather than the Swans, given the Swans are a big chance of the flag this year.
That's
so
right.
they're a second team. But I, growing up as a kid, always supported the Hawks. I got to see them in '89. Was my first grand final I went to.
Nice.
Wow.
When
Big one.
I had on the weekend, I was actually wearing my old VFL scarf from all those days, and that was a magnificent grand final, actually.
Gary Ablett kicked 9.
Yeah, Geelong.
Ablett kicked 9, won the Norm Smith in a losing side.
Yep.
Wow.
There you go. You could have been Bruce McAvaney, the Prime Minister. Crikey.
Let's not worry about the budget. Let's just talk old footy.
Let's talk some budget stuff, shall we? Now, many positive. There are a lot of Australians yesterday who thought, we're getting some money here. I've got a question for you, and I want to be positive, but there are some things that need to be questioned, I reckon. You mentioned 1.2 million homes to be built over 5 years. Is that realistic when you look at... look, in my street at the moment, Prime Minister, four homes are being built. It's taken 2 years, and they're nowhere near being finished. I mean, this is very ambitious.
It is ambitious, but if you don't have a target and you don't have ambition, you'll never get there.
Got to have realistic targets, though. You can't just say 1.2 million homes. That's a lot.
This is realistic. It can be done, and that's why we have a range of measures. $32 billion now of support for housing programs in our budgets, including new investment done, a new deal that was signed last Friday by states and territories, a 5-year deal for social housing and for homelessness going forward. We have as well incentives for the private sector to build to rent. We are working with state and territory governments, including Peter Malinowskis' government, are doing good work on planning, making sure that more homes can be built. It needs to be a priority. We need to address housing supply, and the budget last night adds to that support.
Prime Minister, everyone's getting $300 back from their power bill, which is, some people need it and some people don't. To be honest, the $300, but you've chosen to give it to everyone. I don't know why, but I know one thing I would like you to do is to stop everyone's power bills going through the roof. Mine went up 50%. Why don't you just try and fix that instead of giving everyone $300?
Well, they of course are private sector companies, but what we've done here is to provide that $300 for every single household, just like we're providing tax cuts for every taxpayer. Energy bill relief for every household is a positive thing that will make a difference to provide that cost of living relief, while at the same time making sure that it doesn't add to inflation. That was a difficult task that we had. But the other thing we're doing in the budget is a future made in Australia as well, supporting Australian manufacturing. And the sort of work that Peter's government is doing in the Spencer Gulf with the transition that's occurring will make an enormous difference. I was there at Whyalla, where they turned off the coal furnace. They're looking at green hydrogen, producing green steel there. It is a part of that future agenda that will create prosperity into the future.
I'm just going to give you an example. So my power bill's gone up, over a year, at least a couple of $1,000. So you're giving $300 off. I'm still net a long way from breaking even from where I was last year. I used to be in the pub game. I'm not now, but I know one publican in one pub a month is more than $10,000 higher for his power bill now. That they've got to put their price of schnitzels up, the price of beer up, the price of everything. That affects everyone. We've got to get power prices under control. It's just it's out of control.
Well, what we're doing is seeking to add to supply through the measures that that were put in place, and
They're not working though, are they?
And that is happening. Well, one of the things that we had is the biggest energy crisis globally since the 1970s. That occurred with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and what we saw throughout the entire world, this isn't something that just happened in Australia. Throughout the entire world, we had energy prices really contribute to what was a massive spike in inflation. In places like the UK, inflation hit double digits as a result of these changes that occurred. There are many economies in the world that are in recession now, advanced economies. The Australian economy, we've had 780,000 jobs created since we were in government. Real wages are increasing. Inflation is moderating down to 3.6% on an annual basis. We need to push it down further. We accept that, but that's why we've got in the budget as well this cost of living relief. Namely, the really big measures are primarily tax cuts, is of course the biggest one, and that's why we wanted to make sure that every single taxpayer got a tax cut, and we are providing energy bill relief for households but also for small businesses.
Now, kudos on the highway that's going to be built in South Australia, and there's some really good stuff in this budget. I'm slightly concerned about HECS. I have a HECS debt that is taking me a really long time to pay off. The indexation is killing me. I know a lot of my friends are hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt to the government because of the education that they were encouraged to pursue. What's going to be something... I mean, how are we going to fix this in the long term? Getting small little bits of relief is great, but this could really have a huge effect on, industry. If people are not getting education because they can't afford it, that has a massive effect, a run-on long-term effect.
Sure. Well, there's long-term reform in this budget. The first thing that we've done is to provide $3 billion off people's HECS debts. We've cut, and we've done that by essentially wiping off last year's figure that was very high because of the spike that occurred in inflation. Mm-hmm. And what we've done is change the system so the HECS debts or payments will be the lower figure of either CPI, inflation, or wages going forward. Okay. And that will be a permanent change that will be of permanent benefit. And the other thing that we've done for people studying teaching or nurses or social welfare or early educators is that for the first time when they're doing their prac course, so they're going into a classroom to learn how to be a teacher, or they're going into a hospital or a surgery, a medical centre to do their prac training to be a nurse, they'll be paid for the first time.
Okay.
And that will make an enormous difference as well.
Yes.
Prime Minister, why would you allow record immigration when we've got a housing crisis? And then on top of that, that's leading to inflation as well. Why would we have double the amount of immigrants coming in to Australia at the moment? And I'm a grandson of an Italian immigrant, so I'm all for immigration. But why would we have a record when we haven't got enough houses to start with?
Well, we're going to halve the immigration rate going forward. What occurred, of course, you might recall the pandemic. Our borders were shut. And so we inherited an immigration system that was broken. There are massive numbers of, for example, students coming in. People were coming into Australia. The projected population figures are much lower than what was projected before the pandemic. But we're dealing with that through the changes that we've made in the budget. And, for example, last night for students, so if universities want students to come in from overseas, which is an important contribution to our economy, as well as assisting people to learn and then go back to their country of origin with skills benefiting from the time in Australia, the universities will have to provide student accommodation as well as part of that condition of bringing people in. So we're addressing these issues. The spike was there in students, so that instead of what had happened for a long period of time where students would come in, do year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 and then leave, everyone came in all at once, obviously, because of the pandemic and the borders being closed. So the numbers of where we are now are lower than what was projected when the former government was in office, but we are clamping down, making sure, as I said, that we halve that immigration rate, because we know that we do need to keep the numbers appropriate.
All right, well, good luck with that.
Thanks,
good luck
Prime
getting
Minister.
inflation
Thanks,
under
Prime
control.
Minister.
Good luck getting interest rates down, and we'll go out with your song just to give you another boost of the day. Here we go. Right, happy team at Hawthorn.
There is the Prime Minister,
much.
Anthony Albanese.
It's Red, it's Triple M.
All right, have a great day, everybody.
Catch you tomorrow.